Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingna Tim Hokip bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include Kuki-Zo Council warns Manipur CM against traveling through buffer zones amid tensions. BJP to bring uniform civil code in every state under its rule, Home Minister Amit Shah. Satellite beams turn off over India. Elon Musk rejects claims Starlink being used by rebels in Manipur. News in details. The Kuki-Zo Council KJC has issued a press release urging Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh to reconsider his proposed travel through Kangpokpi district on December 18, 2024 to attend the Rovena Ni Festival in Senapati. With the Council acknowledges and respects the celebration of Rovena Ni and does not oppose the CM's participation as a guest, it raised concerns over the potential risks associated with his visit. The Kuki-Zo Council strongly criticized the Chief Minister's actions, citing his involvement in the ongoing violence against the minority Kuki-Zo people. It claimed that under N. Biren Singh's leadership, the Meitei state government, in alliance with Meitei extremist group, has perpetrated a series of acts against the Kuki-Zo community. The council highlighted that this has led to heightened tensions, and the presence of the CM in the region could potentially incite further unrest. Given the volatile situation, it would be unwise for N. Biren Singh to travel through the Kuki-Zo areas of Kangpokpi at this time, as sentiments among the indigenous Kuki-Zo people are running high, the release stated. The KZC further warned that any attempt by the CM to breach the buffer zone could spark public unrest, jeopardizing the safety of the CM and his entourage. In the statement, the Kuki-Zo Council emphasized that any consequences arising from the Chief Minister's visit would be the sole responsibility of the N. Biren Singh-led Meitei state government. The KZC also called for the immediate cancellation of the proposed travel for the sake of community harmony, urging that the security and well-being of all involved should be prioritized. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the BJP will bring a uniform civil code UCC in every state under its rule, as the party did in Uttarakhand. Concluding the discussion in the Rajya Sabha on the 75th years of adoption of the Constitution, Amit Shah launched a scathing attack on the Congress for failing to implement the UCC across the country. The Home Minister accused the Congress of appeasement politics and asked the party to clarify why there should not be a common law for every religion in a secular nation. Union Home Minister Shah also lashed out at Congress over its allegations concerning electronic voting machines (EVM), saying some of those who made complaints about the results in Maharashtra celebrated it in Jharkhand, where the JMM-led India bloc won the assembly elections. He said the Election Commission of India has asked people to check if it was possible to hack the EVMs, but nobody turned up. Amit Shah said the Supreme Court rejected the petition on EVMs 24 times. The debate on 75 years of the Constitution started in Rajya Sabha on Monday and lasted 2 days. Lok Sabha held the debate last week. SpaceX founder Elon Musk on Tuesday summarily rejected claims that his satellite communication service Starlink is being used by rebels in Manipur. Musk added Starlink satellite beams were turned off over India. His reaction comes days after a reported incident of security forces seizing 2 Starlink devices during raids in restive Manipur's Imphal East district. Post the alleged confiscation of Starlink devices, speculations of satellite internet being used in India grew manifold. Clearing the air about the bus, SpaceX founder said Starlink satellite beams were turned off in India. Starlink is seeking approval from the Indian government to offer satellite broadband services, with the Musk-owned company working to address potential security concerns as part of the process. Public commentators and security analysts speculate that the device had likely been smuggled through the porous border with Myanmar, which has been engulfed in civil war. Media reports have previously documented the use of Starlink devices by rebel groups in Myanmar, though the company does not operate there either. Many weapons looted from armories during the conflict involving the Meitei and Kuki communities in Manipur are being used in carrying out extortion. Investigation into recoveries of weapons in the past few months have revealed. Reportedly, state police sources said most of such weapons are being used by insurgent groups in the valley to threaten traders and government employees for money. Some of the weapons seized during operations against rising incidents of extortions in the valley matched with the weapons which were missing since the violence erupted in May last year. The ethnic violence between the non-tribal Meiteis and tribal Kuki-Zo broke out in the northeastern state on May 3 last year after a tribal solidarity march was organized in the hill districts to protest the Meiteis community's demand for scheduled tribe status. As many as 19 civil society organizations of Manipur have written to the Prime Minister's office PMO seeking to make an appointment with Prime Minister Narendra Modi to discuss the over 19-month-old Manipur crisis and a solution to it. In a letter to the Prime Minister's office, the organizations seek the Prime Minister's immediate intervention in the effort to end the prolonged crisis. The civil bodies included the Committee of Peaceful Coexistence (CPC), Meitei or Meitei Tribe Union (MTU), Federal Students Organization (FESOK), United Meitei Pangal Committee (UMPC), and Manipuri Students Federation (MSF). The 19 civil society organizations are also preparing to jointly organize a peaceful rally on the Manipur issue in New Delhi on December 22nd. They say the demonstration aims to draw the attention of fellow countrymen to the protracted problem and also to find ways to promote peace talks between the warring groups. The letter also requested the PMO to help get an appointment with the PM by December 25 to express their concern and give a chance to discuss with him a way out of the crisis. 19 months after violent clashes erupted between the Meitei community and the Kuki-Zo tribes in the northeast Indian state of Manipur, the violence has shown no signs of abating, according to a report in The Diplomat, an international online news magazine. Indeed, the situation has spiraled dangerously, the report states, adding that so serious is the breakdown in law and order in Manipur and so hardened are the ethnic boundaries that crossing into the territory of the other could be fatal. Meanwhile, major civil society organizations in Manipur and the opposition have criticized the BJP government at the center over its handling of the Manipur crisis and repeatedly attacked Prime Minister Narendra Modi over his silence on the issue. Congress MP from Manipur, Bimol Akoizam, on December 14 stated that he was deeply offended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's lack of address on the Manipur issue and said that he does not wish to listen to his speech on the constitution in the Lok Sabha. Leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha Malik Arjun Kharge on Monday raised the issue of continued violence in Manipur and asked why Prime Minister Narendra Modi had not had the time to visit the state. Participating in a discussion on the glorious journey on 75 years of the Constitution of India, the Congress chief said the Prime Minister had not had the time to assess the situation in Manipur for the past year and a half since violence started in the eastern border state. Violence and unrest is continuing in Manipur, but Modi-ji did not get the time to assess the situation there, he said. Two men sustained gunshot injuries after being attacked by unidentified armed miscreants in Imphal East last evening, December 17, around 7 p.m. The victims have been identified as T. Hemanta, son of T. Nodia of Sagolban, and Y. Kesho, son of Y. Ibohal of Sekta Awang Laikai. Both men were shot in their legs by the assailants, who reportedly arrived armed and opened fire before fleeing the scene. The motive behind the attack remains unclear, and law enforcement agencies have launched an investigation into the incident. The victims were immediately rushed to a nearby medical facility, where they are currently undergoing treatment. Authorities have urged residents to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities as efforts to apprehend the attackers are underway. More details about the incident are awaited as the investigation progresses. New Life Society, Nalumavadi Tamil Nadu NGO handed out manna relief at 2 relief centers in the town. These relief items were handed over as a Christmas gift to the displaced persons. First, 250 selected IDPs from Tuibong area were given the privilege to receive the manna relief at Agape Christian Museum Center, Tuibong. The first phase was conducted under the behest of Reverend Dr. Lunkahau Kip, and he highlighted that the New Life Society had been handing out relief many times in the past as well. Rex Clement highlighted how our fellow Christians from Andhra Pradesh donated what they can to make this charity program successful, and he also says how they continually offer prayers for peace to return to Manipur. The second phase was conducted at YPA General Headquarters Hall, Hiangtam Lamka, under the behest of Thangban Sanguite Missionary FMPB, where relief materials were distributed to another 250 IDP families. A total of 500 IDP families benefited from today's New Life Society charity event. Each family received 20 kg of rice, 1.5 kg of dal, 2 kg of sugar, half kg of tea leaves, 4 pieces of soap, 1 box of biscuit and 1 blanket each. Each family received relief for rupees 3,000 each. The district administration of Churachandpur has distributed relief materials to affected families taking shelter in various relief camps across the district. The distribution was carried out on December 9, 2024 at the Mini Secretariat in Tuibong. According to reports, a total of 15,735 people are currently taking shelter in 91 relief camps across the district. The relief materials distributed included rice, dal, potatoes, onions, tin fish, mustard oil, and other essential commodities. The breakdown of the relief materials distributed is as follows. Tuibong SDO jurisdiction, 814.6 bags of rice, 165.80 bags of dal, 32.30 bags of potatoes, 41.70 bags of onions, 83.20 bags of mustard oil, and 1,422 tins of fish, among other items, were distributed to 7,298 people in 47 relief camps. Lamka SDO jurisdiction, 624.28 bags of rice, 127.20 bags of dal, 25 bags of potatoes, 31.98 bags of onions, 63.80 bags of mustard oil, and 1,086 tins of fish were distributed to 5,599 people in 32 relief camps. Saikot SDO jurisdiction, 118.28 bags of rice, 24.40 bags of dal, 4.60 bags of potatoes, 6 bags of onions, 12.20 bags of mustard oil, and 206 tins of fish were distributed to 1,061 people in 7 relief camps. Singat SDO jurisdiction, 118.28 bags of rice, 24.40 bags of dal, 4.60 bags of potatoes, 6 bags of onions, 12.20 bags of mustard oil, and 206 tins of fish were distributed to 919 people in relief camps. Sangaikot SDO jurisdiction, 95.80 bags of rice, 19.60 bags of dal, 3.80 bags of potatoes, 4.80 bags of onions, 9.80 bags of mustard oil, and 170 tins of fish were distributed to 858 people in 4 relief camps. The total relief materials distributed included 1,755.02 bags of rice, 358.20 bags of dal, 69.80 bags of potatoes, 89.68 bags of onions, 179.50 bags of mustard oil, and 220.20 tins of fish, among other items. Since June 2023, the district administration has been providing relief materials to affected families, including food items, blankets, mattresses, and other essential commodities. Opposition members from TMC and CPI on Tuesday alleged that constitutional rights in Manipur had been suspended and BJP MPs were slammed for not raising the issue during the debate on the constitution. Participating in a discussion on the glorious journey of 75 years of the Constitution of India, Trinamool Congress Susmita Dev said MPs of the ruling party from the Northeast region should resign as all rights ensured to people under the Constitution have been curtailed in Manipur. Today, I say, while we debate on the Constitution, which constitutional right have you not suspended in Manipur? Liberty, expression of speech, everything is being suspended in Manipur. I stand here as a member of Parliament representing the Northeast, demanding the resignation of every MP from Northeast and every minister who is stumping their desk behind the leader of the House, Dev said. She alleged the BJP is creating different classes of citizens with different rights in Assam. There is no equality in the way NRC has been conducted, Dev said, and claimed this government wants one election, one leader, one religion. This is not what Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar wanted for this country, she said, adding, this is the fascist government that is at play. John Britta's CPI said, let the Prime Minister go to Manipur, discharge his responsibilities as the Prime Minister of this country. Let his 11 mantra, which he gave on the floor of the Lok Sabha, let him do that. He alleged that from the Comptroller and Auditor General CAG to the Election Commission to Parliament and the media, the trust of the people has been dented considerably. Britta's claimed that there was an undeclared emergency in this country. He claimed that one nation, one election is an extension of one leader, one country, one ideology. He also demanded that a joint parliamentary committee be appointed to probe where Hungarian-American businessman and investor George Soros' money was used. Dev claimed corporate loans were being waived, whereas farmers are reeling from debts. She claimed that the country's middle class is the worst impacted by the tax burden, while taxation on the corporates keep reducing because of the policies of this government. She claimed that the two most destructive policies of the central government, namely the note ban and the lockdown in the aftermath of COVID, destroy the informal economy. Ramnath Thakur, JDU leader of the Union Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare, said the government strives to implement the principles enshrined in the Constitution. He congratulated Prime Minister Narendra Modi for giving Bharat Ratna to former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and Charan Singh, as well as former Bihar Chief Minister Karpuri Thakur, a champion of backward empowerment, among others in 2023, asking who stopped the Congress party from doing the same. Four men from the Jurang region in Riboy lost their lives in a tragic road accident last night, December 16, when a truck they were traveling in veered off a hilly road and plunged into a ravine. Another individual sustained injuries in the incident. The accident occurred in the Minar Jurang area, claiming the lives of Edward Nongklo, Taylor Nongplang, and Francis Warzri, all residents of Leusok Sang village and Bankirlang Kiliat from Jurang. The lone survivor, Benedict Siam, is currently undergoing treatment in Shillong. The truck, heavily loaded with firewood, fell approximately 200 meters into a ravine while the men were returning from transporting the cargo. They had intended to offload the firewood at a nearby location. Authorities have shifted the bodies of the deceased to Nongpo Civil Hospital for post-mortem examinations and other formalities. Meanwhile, Jurang MLA Sotenes Sotun visited the bereaved families today, offering condolences and assistance to the family. A High Court bench in Bangladesh has acquitted former Junior Minister for Home Affairs Lutfo Jaman Babar and 5 others in the 2004 Chattogram arms hole case. The death sentence of Pares Baro, chief of the banned terror outfit ULFA, has been commuted to life imprisonment according to reported by Prothom Alo. The case dates back to the 2004 seizure of 10 truckloads of arms and ammunition destined for terror organizations operating against India. The massive consignment was intercepted during the Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP) and Jamaat al-Islami regime, under which Babar served as the Minister of State for Home Affairs from 2001 to 2006. Evidence had earlier implicated Babar in facilitating the smuggling of arms for anti-India forces. The BNP-led regime had also provided refuge to ULFA leader Pares Barao, who is now believed to be operating out of China. Barao was among 6 individuals on death row who received a reprieve. While his sentence was reduced to life imprisonment, the others were sentenced to 10 years in jail. As reported by the Dhaka-based newspaper, the crackdown on anti-Indian forces had been initiated under the Awami League government led by Sheikh Hasina, who herself had faced exile after political turmoil in August. Following her exit, a caretaker government under Muhammad Yunus has assumed power in Dhaka. The new regime's acquittal of Babar and the leniency shown towards Barrow comes at a time when Bangladesh's relations with India are strained, marked by violence against minorities including Hindus. The development has drawn sharp criticism from New Delhi, which has expressed concerns over the caretaker government's approach to addressing regional security and minority rights. Manipur police has informed that all the 6 arrested individuals who were arrested following a gunfight at Salungpam in Thoubal district last week were cadres of band outfit Pripak who were involved in extortion activities and were not acting as village volunteers. The IG ranks to Hobijam Jogesh Chandra told reporters forensic examination report has revealed that one 18-year-old Laisram Prem who sustained bullet injuries during the gunfight at Salungpam and who later succumbed to his injuries was shot by their cadres themselves who were driving behind in a four-wheeler. The UGs had come from Kakching Kunau to do extortion in Salungpam and as such were not acting as village volunteers but as UGs doing extortion, and it was the UG who fired at police team first, Hobijam added. The deceased Laisram Prem had not attended school since June and his family had reported him missing in August. He had joined Pripak as a cadre and had been staying at Kakching Kunau, Hobijam said. Concerning the release of the arrested cadres, it is the domain of the court and police has no say in this matter, Hobijam said. If there are doubts about the encounter, the police headquarters may be approached to start proceedings to hand over to independent agency like NIA or CBI, he added, amidst requests all not to circulate false information. Of the 11 Indian nationals found dead at a restaurant in Georgia's mountain resort of Godavari, many were from Punjab, Samir Kumar 26 from Khanar near Ludhiana, Amrinder Kaur 32 from Mema in Patiala district, and her sister-in-law Maninder Kaur and Ravinder Singh and Gurvinder Kaur from Sunam. All of them died due to suspected carbon monoxide poisoning. Samir Kumar, hailing from Billa Wali Chapri area of Khanna, moved to Georgia 6 months ago. He had been working at Haveli restaurant in Georgia when the tragedy took place. He died on his birthday a few hours after he spoke to his mother in India. He told his mother that there was a power shortage in the area due to a snowstorm and went to sleep shortly after. We tried to call him again on Saturday to wish him on his birthday, but he did not answer the phone calls. Then we traced the number of the restaurant and called. They informed us that all 12 people sleeping in the premises had died due to a gas leak and he was among them. Our request to the government is that it should bring back his body so that his last rites can be performed, said a close relative who added that he is survived by his parents, brother and sister back here. Amrinder Kaur went to Georgia in 2015. She moved there to support her father and had been working at that hotel after completing class 12. She had also invited her brother Jatinder Singh to stay with them, but he had moved to South Korea. 2 years ago, Jatinder married Maninder Kaur from Mansa. Maninder died along with Amrinder in the incident. Jatinder and Maninder were planning to come to India next year to celebrate their marriage. The last time their family spoke to Amrinder was on Thursday and she said that there was blackout in the area due to snowstorm. We request that her body be brought back so the family can perform her last rites, said a close relative. Ravinder Singh and Gurvinder Kaur moved to Georgia a year ago. They had gone to the resort to celebrate their first wedding anniversary on December 18. Ravinder went to Tbilisi in March and later moved to Godavari. Singh was the youngest of 3 brothers. He started working as a carpenter after completing his graduation and moved to Georgia for a better future. Kanchan, wife of Ravinder Kala from Rod Ramdas locality in Jalandhar, who was flanked by her 2 daughters and 7-year-old son when the New Indian Express met her, said she is still struggling to register her loss. She recounted how her husband would call her late evening every day. During their last conversation on the fateful day, he told her there was a snowstorm in Georgia and that his restaurant was being powered by a generator. Sobbing, she also remembered how their son had only seen his dad via video calls. Congress member of Parliament from Amritsar, Gurjit Singh Ausla, urged the Punjab government to take steps to bring back the bodies of Punjabis who died in the accident. 11 Indian nationals were found dead at a restaurant in Georgia's mountain resort of Godavari, the Indian mission had said on Monday. Ministry of Internal Affairs of Georgia had said the initial inspection found no signs of injury or violence. All victims died from carbon monoxide poisoning, local media reported, citing police. A power generator was running in the closed space and the exhaust likely choked the restaurant staff in their sleep. The ministry added that the bodies of all the victims were found in bedrooms on the second floor of the building. In connection with the fact, investigative actions are actively being carried out. Forensic criminalists are working on the spot and interviews of persons related to the case are being conducted. Appropriate examinations are appointed. A forensic medical examination had also been appointed to determine the exact cause of death, it said. The Indian mission is Tbilisi had said it was saddened to learn of the unfortunate passing of 11 Indian nationals in Godavari and extended its deepest condolences to their families. The mission added that it is in contact with the families of the victims and is providing them with necessary support. The Embassy of India in Tbilisi is saddened to learn of the unfortunate passing of 11 Indian nationals in Godavari, Georgia, and extends its deepest condolences to their families. The embassy is working closely with local authorities to facilitate the prompt repatriation of the mortal remains of India. We are also in contact with the bereaved families and are committed to providing all possible support, the embassy said in a statement. The NLA announced that more than 100 cadets had graduated from the PSLF/TNLA Trainee Officer Training, Taang Army Officer Training TAOT Week 4 training. The NLA has learned that Week 4 graduation of Trainee General Training and Week 5 opening ceremony was held simultaneously on December 15 in one place of the country. Trainee General Training TAOT was 18 months long and 132 trainees attended. It is said that 12 of those trainees had to sacrifice their lives because of their own participation in the 1027 Operation Part 2. That's why it is known that in this graduation ceremony, only 114 candidates were able to graduate. In addition to this, the NLA also said that a new course was opened with 135 intern general trainees who will attend 5 weeks. At the opening ceremony, PSLF/TNLA President General Tar I Bone expressed his honor and respect to the students of the battalion who fought with the military and battalion forces and gave their lives on the battlefield during the training period. PSLF/TNLA General Secretary General Tar Bone Q also said that interim general graduates have experienced the current military politics of the country face to face. Therefore, they need to serve not only in the military but also in administration, justice, and other departments. The ceremony was attended by PSLF/TNLA President General Ta Bon, General Secretary General Tar Bon Kyo, General Army General Tanur Run, and other departmental officials, officers, trainees, and a total of over 700 people. North Korean troops have been killed fighting Ukrainian forces in Russia's Kursk border region, the US has said. This would be the first reported casualties since it emerged in October that North Korea had sent around 10,000 troops to reinforce Russia's war effort. Ukraine's military intelligence agency, the GUR, has also said at least 30 North Korean troops had been killed or wounded in fighting over the weekend. The BBC had not independently verified the claims. The North Korean troops, none of whom will have any previous combat experience, are believed to have spent their first weeks in Russia in training and then in support roles. On Saturday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia had begun to use a significant number in its assaults in Kursk, part of which Ukraine has occupied since launching a surprise incursion in August. Speaking to reporters on Monday, Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pete Ryder said the U.S. believed North Korea soldiers had engaged in combat in Kursk alongside Russia forces and suffered casualties, both killed and wounded. He did not give specific numbers but said the troops had been in combat since a little over a week ago. He added it appeared the North Koreans were being used in infantry roles and that their involvement was true so far to be limited to Kurds, implying that they had not been deployed in Ukraine itself. Russian forces, who launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, have been advancing in eastern parts of the country in recent months. The GUR said the North Korean casualties had occurred on Saturday and Sunday in the Kurds villages of Plekhovo, Vorovza, and Martinova. On Monday, President Zelensky posted drone footage on Telegram that showed a number of men taking cover behind trees, saying they were North Korean troops who had just taken part in an assault on a Ukrainian position. He also posted footage which he said showed Russian troops trying to conceal the presence of North Koreans on the battlefield by using a campfire to burn the faces of those who had been killed. Ukraine's defense forces and intelligence are working to determine the full extent of the actual losses suffered by Russian units that include North Koreans, he said. He added that there was not a single reason for North Koreans to die in this war. The Kremlin referred questions about North Korean deaths to the Russian Ministry of Defense, which has made no comment. Following reports of the deaths, the EU and countries including the UK, US, and Australia and South Korea called Pyongyang's involvement in the conflict a dangerous expansion with serious consequences for European and Indo-Pacific security. Earlier this week, the US Treasury Department announced sanctions of 9 people and 7 entities over their financial and military support to North Korea. An international war crimes prosecutor said on Tuesday that evidence emerging from mass grave sites in Syria has An international war crimes prosecutor said on Tuesday that evidence emerging from mass grave sites in Syria has exposed a state-run machinery of death under toppled leader Bashar al-Assad, in which he estimated more than 100,000 people were tortured and murdered since 2013. Speaking after visiting 2 mass grave sites in 2 towns of Qutaifa and Najah near Damascus, former U.S. war crime ambassador at large Stephen Rapp told Reuters, "We certainly have more than 100,000 people that were disappeared into the torture to death in this machine. I don't have much doubt about those kinds of numbers, given when we have seen in these mass graves. We really haven't seen anything quite like this since the Nazis," said Rapp, who led prosecutions at the Rwanda and Sierra Leone war crimes tribunals and is working with Syrian civil society to document war crimes evidence and is helping to prepare for any eventual trials. From the secret police who disappear people from their streets and homes, to the jailers and interrogators who starve and torture them to death, to the truck drivers and bulldozer drivers who hid their bodies, thousands of people were working in this system of killing, Rapp said. "We are talking about a system of state terror who has become a machinery of death. Hundreds of thousands of Syrians are estimated to have been killed since 2011, when Assad's crackdown on protests against him spiraled into a full-scale war. Both Assad and his father Hafez, who preceded him as president and died in 2000, have long been accused by rights groups and governments of widespread extrajudicial killings, including mass executions within the country's prison system and using chemical weapons against the Syrian people. Assad, who fled to Moscow, had repeatedly denied that his government committed human rights violations and painted his detractors as extremists. The head of US-banned Syrian advocacy organizations, the Syrian Emergency Task Force, Mustafa, who also visited Qutaifa, 25 miles 40 kilometers north of Damascus, has estimated at least 100,000 bodies were buried there alone. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.